Most people think truck driving is just long roads and quiet nights. Miles of empty highway, the sound of the engine, nothing but darkness stretching out ahead. But truckers know something most people don't. When you spend enough nights alone on the road, you start noticing things. Figures standing where no one should be. Headlights that follow you for miles. Voices on the radio when no one is transmitting. And sometimes, you see something in your mirrors that shouldn't exist at all. The stories in this video were shared by truck drivers who experienced something they still can't explain. 4 different highways. 4 different drivers. 4 nights that never felt normal. So if you're driving tonight, you might want to check your mirrors. Because the road behind you might be. I've been driving trucks for almost 15 years, and I've seen a lot of strange things on the road. Most of them have explanations. People get tired. Your mind fills in shapes in the darkness. Shadows look like people. Road signs flash, weird, when your headlights hit them just right. That's what I told myself the night this happened. I was driving through northern Arizona around 3 a.m. Long empty highway, no towns, 4 miles. Just desert and the occasional truck passing in the opposite lane. My delivery schedule was tight, so I was trying to push through the night. About halfway through that stretch, I noticed someone standing on the side of the road. A woman. She was standing right near the edge of the shoulder, facing the highway. At first, I thought maybe her car had broken down somewhere nearby. But as I got closer, I noticed something strange. There wasn't a car. No headlights, no hazard lights, nothing parked anywhere nearby. Just her, standing there. It was freezing outside that night, and she was wearing what looked like a thin white dress. No jacket, no shoes. That alone made me slow down. I rolled my window down slightly and leaned toward the passenger side. "Hey, you need help?" She didn't move, didn't wave, didn't look at me. Just stood there facing the road. I drove past her slowly, watching in the mirror, and that's when she turned her head. Slowly. Not toward the truck. Toward the road behind me, like she was watching something following me. That gave me a strange feeling. But I kept driving. About 10 minutes later, I started feeling uneasy. Not scared, exactly. Just that weird feeling like someone is watching you. So I checked the passenger side mirror, and that's when I saw her again, standing on the shoulder of the road. Behind my truck. The same woman. Same white dress. Same still posture. That made absolutely no sense. I had driven at least 10 miles since I passed her. There's no way she could have walked that far, that fast. I blinked and looked again. She was still there, standing perfectly still on the shoulder, watching the truck. I told myself it had to be someone else. Maybe another person on the road. But then, something else happened. I checked the mirror again a few seconds later, and she was closer. Much closer. Now, standing near the back of the trailer, but I never saw her walk. Never saw her move. She was just suddenly closer. That's when I started feeling genuinely uneasy. I turned my attention back to the road and tried to ignore it. But a few seconds later, something moved inside the cab. On the passenger side, I slowly turned my head, and my heart nearly stopped. She was sitting in the passenger seat, perfectly still, looking straight ahead through the windshield. I slammed the brakes instinctively. The truck skidded slightly before stopping on the shoulder. When I turned again, the seat was empty. No one there. The door was still locked. I sat there breathing heavily for a minute, trying to calm down. Finally, I stepped out of the truck to check around it. The highway was empty. Silent. No cars. No people. Just wind blowing across the desert. I was about to climb back into the cab when I noticed something on the passenger window. A handprint, pressed against the glass from the inside. And beneath it, 4 long streaks, like fingernails dragging slowly down the window. I got back into the truck and drove until sunrise. I didn't stop anywhere after that. But here's the part that still bothers me. Every once in a while when I'm driving alone at night, I check the passenger seat, just to make sure it's still empty. because sometimes I swear I can hear someone breathing beside me. I've been driving trucks long enough to know that the road can mess with your head. When you spend 12 or 14 hours alone in a cab, staring at the same dark highway, your mind starts playing tricks on you. At least, that's what I used to believe. This happened about 4 years ago during a winter haul through Montana. It was around 2:40 in the morning. Snow had been falling lightly for hours, and the highway was nearly empty. My headlights were the only thing lighting the road for miles. If you've ever driven through Montana at night, you know how quiet it gets. No towns, no traffic. Just miles of dark forest and frozen fields. I had just crossed a long stretch of highway when I noticed something strange ahead. There was a truck parked on the shoulder. That wasn't unusual. Drivers pull over all the time to rest or check their load. But the way this truck was parked caught my attention. It was sitting perfectly straight on the shoulder. Engine off, lights off. No hazard lights, just a dark shape sitting in the snow. As I got closer, I noticed something else. The driver door was open, wide open. That made me slow down. Usually when a truck stops like that, it means something is wrong. A breakdown, maybe. I rolled past slowly and looked over. The cab was empty, no driver, no movement, just the door hanging open in the cold wind. For a second, I considered stopping to check if someone needed help, but something about the whole thing felt off. There were no footprints in the snow around the truck, not leading away from it, not leading toward it. Just untouched snow everywhere except the tire tracks. I kept driving. About 10 minutes later, I checked my mirrors out of habit, and that's when I saw headlights behind me. 2 bright lights coming up the road. I figured it was another truck catching up. But the strange part was the speed. The headlights were gaining on me way too fast. Within seconds, they were right behind my trailer. So I moved slightly toward the right lane to let them pass. But they didn't pass. They stayed behind me. Close. Too close. I could see the glow of the lights reflecting off the back of my trailer, but I still couldn't see the truck itself. Just the lights. It reminded me of something. Something I didn't want to think about. The parked truck. The one with the open door. I checked the mirror again, and my stomach dropped. Because the headlights behind me looked exactly like the ones on that parked truck. Same height, same spacing, but that truck had been sitting on the shoulder with the engine off. I knew what I saw. Still, I tried to stay calm. Maybe another truck just happened to have similar lights. But then, something else happened. The headlights behind me slowly moved closer, until they were almost touching the trailer. I grabbed the radio. Driver behind me, back it up a little. No response, just static. The lights stayed there. So I slowed down slightly, and that's when the headlights disappeared. Not faded, not turned away. Just gone. Like someone switched them off instantly. I checked every mirror. The road behind me was empty, completely empty. No truck, no lights, nothing. That was enough for me. I kept driving another 20 miles until I reached a truck stop. When I pulled into the lot, I shut the engine down and stepped out to check the trailer. Snow had been falling the whole time. The ground was covered. I walked around the truck slowly. Everything looked normal. Then I got to the back of the trailer, and I noticed something in the snow. Fresh tire tracks. 2 lines, running directly behind my truck, stopping about 10 feet from the trailer. But the strange thing was, they didn't lead anywhere. There were no tracks behind them. No tracks turning away. Just 2 lines in the snow that appeared suddenly and ended right behind my truck, like something had been following me without ever touching the road. I've been driving long haul for almost a decade. If you ask most truckers, they'll tell you the same thing. The highways at night are peaceful, quiet, sometimes even relaxing. But there's one stretch of road in Nevada I refuse to drive anymore. It was around 3:10 in the morning when it happened. I had been on the road for about 6 hours, hauling a dry load. Toward Utah, the highway was empty 4 miles. Just desert on both sides and the occasional reflective sign flashing in the headlights. No towns, no traffic, just the road. I remember checking the clock, because I was getting tired. That's when I saw someone standing on the shoulder ahead. A person, just standing there. At first I thought maybe it was another driver who had broken down. It happens sometimes out there. But the closer I got, the stranger it looked. They weren't waving for help. They weren't moving at all, just standing perfectly still, facing the road. You see a lot of weird things driving overnight, but people standing alone in the middle of nowhere at 3 a.m. usually means something's wrong. So I slowed down. As my headlights hit them fully, I realized it was a woman, long dark hair, thin jacket, standing barefoot on the gravel shoulder. That alone made no sense. It was freezing outside. I rolled the truck a little slower and cracked my window. "Hey, you need help?" No response. She didn't move, didn't look at me, just kept facing the highway like she was waiting for something. That gave me a bad feeling, so I kept rolling past her. But as my trailer passed, I checked the side mirror. She was gone. Not walking away. Not moving into the desert. Just gone. I remember actually leaning forward in the seat trying to see better. The shoulder was empty. Completely empty. That should have been the end of it. But about 10 minutes later, something else happened. I looked down the highway ahead and saw a figure standing in the distance. Same shape, same long hair, standing on the shoulder again. At first I thought it had to be someone else, but the closer I got, the more it looked exactly the same. Same jacket, same posture, same stillness. Standing there waiting, I slowed down again. This time I didn't roll the window down. I just drove past, and just like before, when I checked the mirror, she was gone. I told myself I was just tired. Maybe my brain was playing tricks on me. Night driving can do that sometimes. But about 20 minutes later I reached a small rest stop, one of those quiet ones with just a couple lights and a vending machine. I pulled in to stretch my legs. The place was empty. No cars, no other trucks, just the wind blowing across the parking lot. I shut off the engine and sat there for a minute before stepping out. That's when I noticed something strange. There were footprints in the gravel near my truck. Barefoot prints, walking toward the passenger side of my cab. I slowly walked around the truck to look. The footprints stopped right next to the door, like someone had stood there, waiting. I climbed back inside immediately and locked both doors, and that's when I saw it. On the passenger side mirror, a faint handprint, pressed against the glass from the outside. But the strange thing is, I never heard anyone walk up to the truck, and the gravel around me was completely silent. Sometimes when I drive at night now, I still check the side mirror more than I should, just to make sure no one is standing next to the truck. Because out there on those empty highways, you don't always see who's walking beside you. Those were 3 trucker horror stories shared by drivers who experienced something they still can't explain. And the strange thing about stories like these is they always happen when the road is empty. Late at night, miles from the nearest town, with no one around to see what really happened. Before you leave, I'm curious about something. Where are you watching this video from? And what time is it there right now? Let me know in the comments. I always like seeing how far these stories travel, and if you enjoy realistic horror stories like these, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more true scary stories every week. Because the next story might happen somewhere near you. Until next time, stay safe on the road.